Okay, you alive. It's okay, 5 minutes late. Looks like it's Free Willy Day. The whale gets to swim away. He was short the 55 puts. Let's move him down over here. Take one thing as it comes. We undercut, bounced above, and now we're kind of in this lower chop zone that I talked about when I sent out my note, my follow up note. Okay, so what's going on here? Let's kind of talk the day through real quick and then we'll get to the fun part, the pin. So, as you can see, big drop. What happened? I don't know the backstory, but what all I do know is that Ivy spiked. Where is it? We went all the way up to 16 and a half. Then 16 VIX. We'll just use VIX as the default for IV. We're kind of farting around there and then drop back down to 15. OMG, what happened? Well, as I mentioned in the room, and you guys can verify it, going into the weekend, I expected vol to be sold as always. The Monday vol at the end of the day, Friday at around 2 o'clock goes down. Read Jeff Organ, um, trading options on a short time frame or something like that. AUGN book was written in 2009, but it's still true. Um, and so that's what we got. That's what we got. Additionally, with this, we had real expensive puts bought, which is going to create a tailwind. How expensive? Well, I looked at it before. Let's just look at it again right now for fun. Let's look at Friday. Let's look at the 20 delta put. The 20 delta put. And let's find the 20 delta call ish. Even the 21 delta. So we're shading it to the call side. 360 debit. That's a big difference. Puts are expensive, and they were more expensive before. This is almost close to a $5. I don't remember exactly. And so, yeah. And so all kind of predictable. Now, I didn't trade zero DTE, which I don't do on these days, but I have my Frankenstein fly over here, and I put it on Twitter. It's up 980 bucks on the day. Plus, I had some other stuff that we closed. Today was decent day, not great, decent great. So my question is, do I close this out for $500, $600 profit, 50%? Probably. Probably close it out at the end of the day. Anyone who followed these trades will do the same. Pin target, we're getting there. I'm building the suspense. Come on, man. I'm building the suspense. Um, okay. So now that we got that, oh yeah, important thing, two important things. So in the morning, before the big drop, however many, 15,000, whatever the number was, 20,000, 6470 put credit spread, 6470, 6465s were um, were sold, creating this 70 zone. We had the whale on the bottom at 6355. A lot of them closed. Looks like all his minions didn't close, but some of them did. And so then we created that 55 to 70 zone. Market maker long on top, on the bottom. And as we all know from our lengthy discussions, it'll be easier to show it here. Ah, crap. As we all know, when we're over here between two market maker longs, head toward this, market makers sell, move away, market makers buy, mean reversion here, opposite down here. As we move down here, they buy. As we move away, they sell. Now, this was much bigger. The whale closed a bunch of it. Plus, right now I have it set on gamma, not on position number. And so the further out of the money, the less gamma, less hedging they have to do. So we had this for a while, this 55, 65, 70 flyish looking structure. Whale closed some of these. IV went down as predicted. And now we're above the 70. New ball game. And we have a possible path up or a pullback down towards 70. So that's the question right now. That's the question right now. So far, the pinball winner over here is going to tell us where we're going to close. So let's see what let's start with 75. First question of the day. Okay, so this whole area is a mess. Why is it a mess? Because these are customer long, market makers short. Depending what gets held on to, what gets sold at the end of the day, anything can happen in here. This is that local. This is that local trading. Local meaning near spot, and the algos aren't stupid. They know what they're. And even even us retail traders. I bought a few longs when we were down at where were we? When we were down below 70. When we were down below 70, and that kind of seemed like a 75 something, whatever. It seemed like a good trade, and it was. Zero TG looks like. Yeah, so some of them are still there, some of them closed. There were more there before. At the beginning of the day, there was like 40,000. So a bunch of the whale's minions closed, and looks like some of them didn't. Now, if we want to do a quick game of whale speculation, which I don't mind doing. I've been watching this whale for a while. Notice the 10 wides, 0.5 wides and 10 wides during the day. So the 10 wides was 65.45. They're gone. They're gone. So the 10 wide, maybe the hedge fund, he has a hedge fund and he has a service, quote unquote. So some of the minions, maybe he closed the hedge fund mechanically, and maybe the people that are discretionary held on. Same number up here on top. The 35s. It looks like they held on to these on top. I guess they weren't as afraid, but 13, and I forgot what the number was, but it was way more than that at the morning. We can get maybe a rough idea what the number was if we go to market maker position number, put on markers. See, okay, this is how many closed. From 49,000 to 12,000. Ye of little faith. Okay, so this many closed. And here's the puts on the other side closing. On the call side, I got rid of the call side because I really wasn't in target. So now 80. So the question is, over under 80, or see, there's a path up, but as soon as people start selling that, if they do, so it depends on, do people start jumping on Little Lotto 85 calls or whatever, or jumping on 75 puts or 70 puts? That's what's going to tell the tale. 78-ish. So kind of where we are now. Now remember, we probably have this bounce coming here. So 78-ish, 75, somewhere in here is a reasonable bet. So we're saying we don't go to 70 because that's customer short, market maker long. So 80, 75, 70 spread. 75, 70, 65. Sell the 70 that way. That's the question. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, here's where I was looking at the skew. Let's take a look. Let's first start over at the money. So this is decent risk reward, or it just jumped? If we want to kind of be a little cowboyish, we could do that. We say we're not going to 70, right? So we want to sell where we're not going for 85 cents, but now we need it to be under 75 for that to be a winner. We can invest $300 and try and do it that way. I don't like doing that. I'm a cheapskate. We don't want to buy where we're not going. We want to sell where we're not going. That looks like a reasonable bet. That's a better bet for $1.25. But then if we push to 80, you get skewered. If you feel like spending money to make money, or something like this for a quarter, now that's interesting. But again, if we get over 80, if we have a 10-point push at the end of the day, then you're screwed again. So 78-ish, this would be a reasonable play. I guess want to show so I guess wanted to show people that the puts and the calls end up costing about the same. $1.10 for the put side, $1.05 for the call side. So it doesn't matter which side you play, as long as you're, the same width and the same center, etc. Okay, do we have any? I didn't even put out a poll. I'm getting lax here. Oh yeah, now the other thing, those of you that have been following this mini series for a while know that I like to do the weekly expected move trades. Weekly expected move is 63.90-ish. The expected move has been kind of hovering down there It was here before we had that. So the expected move is moving up. Top 60s, what is it? 65, 60, 65, 60. Okay. So let's call it 65, 75 on top, or whatever, 6,600, 63.80 on the bottom. Now, when I looked at the chain, 62.95 looked real reasonable to me. Now let's take a look. Friday. So there's juice in the juice bar up at 95. There's juice up here at 15, a little bit. Kind of shitty, but good starter. Okay, so we have another 64.78 pin. That seems to be the group conscience here, 64.78 pin. I'll send one, whoa, the 20, oh wait, that's not right. 66.15, 66. I already got that in. Something's not right. 66.15, 66. Oh, we only have, they forgot a strike. And when I asked about this once, like, yeah, they forgot. Sometimes that happens, they forget. It's kind of that simple. I know a little weird to imagine, but yeah, they forget. What we got here at 25, sell custom. No, we don't want 25.75, so let's go 15. Sell custom, 30 cents, not worth it, so can't find a trade. I will take 40 cents just to get something in on top. And this was so cheap. I bought this little lotto here. Could always make it into a fly. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay, we got one here. Okay, so it looks like we're pushing down towards 75. I'm not really watching the chart. Let's take a look. Yeah, oh, look at that. So, uh-oh, uh-oh. Down goes Fraser. Not really, but let's take a look at where we actually are. And this thing gets stuck, so we got to redo it. 74.29, 75. Remember, I said, like I say, I told you so. And really, that's a guess because if you look at the data, it could be anywhere in here. Now, if we look at the, okay, we can look at the depth view and see, market makers are short here, but these out of the money calls, you see customer long calls, if they're holding on to them, they decay. These 75s decay. This is a 10-minute lag, so these people could have sold them. We don't know. Now we're back to 78 again. TT has been the star of the show, and Darish is seeing the same thing. Everyone's seeing the below 70. So how would you trade it? 75, 75, 80, 85 fly? This one that we were looking at before, it's 240 now. It was 110 when we looked at it before. So it would have been $100 or a double. At this stage of the game, that doesn't pay. At this stage of the game, you're paying all intrinsic value for the 64.75s, $3.23, and you're getting really nothing for your 80s. You're getting 50 cents. So you're buying the intrinsic value. And if we slip below the 76, if we go to 74, whatever, 74.99, this is worthless. So we went from 110 to 2 something, now round trip back to 120. How's your conviction? Still 78? We're below 75 now. Okay, so the under 80 works. Now the new discussion is over under 75. Under 80 is a winner. The 70, which we knew, quote unquote, was going to hold, is worthless. That's why we were looking at a 70 mid. We got 2 minutes to go. Let me put it on this one first. This one doesn't show the whale, but shows the gaps. If I didn't know better, if I were a TA person, I would say, look at that. Close, gap up, come up here, run up, gap fill, bounce, middle of the range. Now we have this just from a price action point of view. Pretty clear. We got 2 minutes. That's right, we do. You only need, how many points do you need? You need a point, 50 cents. I think you got it. I think you got it. 78.50. You have it. Should we stop the clock now? Ooh. Well, if it's under 80 and over 75, you get partial credit. No, really, over 75, under 80, that fly would win. So that's a winner. Let's see what that fly is priced at now. Oh, back to 310. See that? It was $1.10 before. Went from $1.10 to 2 to whatever it went to 2 something, back down to $1 and change. And now it's all intrinsic value. Pencils down. Oh, 81. Oh, crap. Above 80. Who had above 80? Well, he had 80. Is that the closest one? My guess, 80. Do we give him credit for 81 when they said 80, since this is an over-under game? I don't know. I'm going to have to consult the rule book. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. It was close, yeah. And let me just see something here. $75 round number held. Support. We're kind of considering NFP crazy day with all the shenanigans. I'm going to give myself a B plus for this. You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. All right, everybody. It's go time and maybe excavator time or something. I'm not even sure, but I have a feeling that something is going to be going on because we're digging over the weekend trying to make a pond, not a pond, trenches so that we don't flood this winter like we flood last winter or fall when the snow melts. And there you go. Okay, so you see what I was saying to you about the whale did close. There were 45,000 there, and then there were like 15,000 at the end. So yeah, there's that. Okay, everybody, take care. Hate to say I told you so, but that's that's why you pay me. No, just kidding. No, actually, I'm not. Okay, take care.